or 1 penny that doubles every day for 30 days. Having $1 million right now sounds nice, but even if it was $2 million, you need to take the penny if you want more money. Here's why. On day 1, you'll have 1 penny. On day 2, you'd have 2 pennies. On day 3, you'd have 4 pennies. By day 8, you would have $1.28. By day 15, doubling every day, you would have over $100. By day 20.
What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing alright, man. If you guys are brand new to the channel, you guys don't know what we do. We break down scary and creepy videos, man, on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG Reels, Facebook, anything weird, usual, and unexplained you can find right here on this channel. I just want to thank my supporters, man, who's tapping in, subscribing to the channel, hitting that post notification bell, man, hitting that like button. That's pushing us in the algorithm. I really appreciate the support. Found this video for you guys today. Let's do what we do best, seekers. Let's seek the truth.
This is what movies look like before adding special effects. In Spider-Man, when Green Goblin attacks Mary Jane, they actually built a set that can fall apart, and you can hear Mary Jane's real scream. In the movie Life of Pi, in this scene, Pi gets hit with a fish storm, and surprisingly, this isn't CGI. They actually had the entire crew throw fake fish at him. And of course the tiger isn't real, just a man in a blue suit. For the Planet of the Apes movies, it's impossible to have real-life apes act, so all the apes are just actors in gray jumpsuits with arm extensions, which makes for some hilarious scenes. In Alice in Wonderland, when she was walking with the 2 egg people, this is how it actually looked before any special effects were added. Moving on, this is how they filmed the monster scene in Love and Monsters, a mixture of wires and practical effects. And even the dog did a great job acting. For filming Avatar, since banshees don't exist in the real world, robotic animatronics are used to bring these mythical creatures to life. And I don't know how the actors don't break character looking like this. Next, Vecna from Stranger Things looks super realistic, and that's because he was. The prosthetic makeup and suit that Jamie wore took about 8 hours every day to put on. For the iconic movie Titanic, James Cameron actually rebuilt parts of the ship and literally flooded it with thousands of gallons of water. And this is how they filmed the ship sinking scene, however the bow of the ship was sadly CGI. And lastly, in Mission Impossible, Tom Cruise isn't actually fighting on top of a moving train. Oh wait, he actually is? He's crazy.
Is prank involving...
Man. I mean, we know some movies had, I knew some movie had special effects, but I didn't know it really went that deep, man. It really goes to show you, bro, like how technology can really change your perception of reality. You think it's like it's real, but it's really not. It's just wires and just cameras and lighting and graphics. Something to keep in mind.
Kids went terribly wrong, and you won't believe what happened to the parents. This family who films YouTube videos thought of a crazy new idea. They filled the back of their pickup truck with Orbeez and water. But what's crazy is they actually let their kids sit in the back. Yes, while driving. And you can see them swinging from side to side in the bag, almost falling out. And shockingly, at the end of the prank, they simply just opened the back of the truck and let the Orbeez go into the road. And the parents were later charged with child endangerment.
Cannibal facts that'll eat at you for days.
They should.
If you thought Jeffrey Dahmer was picky for not eating people with tattoos, Venezuelan serial killer Dorangel Vargas, who ate 10 people, didn't like his victims to be overweight because he thought that they contained too much cholesterol. On Thanksgiving Day, 1991, 23-year-old Omaima Nelson stabbed her sugar daddy William before carving him up and cooking his head in a deep fryer and eating him for dinner. In the 1970s, Jorge Nevermonte, also known as the Brazilian Sweeney Todd, would bake his victims into pies before selling them to local townsfolk. After murdering and eating his classmate in 1981, Issei Sagawa was released from prison because of a loophole in Japanese law. Since then, he's actually profited off the crime, writing books, appearing on talk shows, and starring in adult films where he bites his fellow co-stars. In 2001, a man named Armin Maiwis posted an ad on a website called Cannibal Cafe looking for someone to be killed and eaten. A German engineer named Bernd Brandis volunteered, and after photos and videos of the incident were posted online, Armin was sent to jail, where today, he's a vegetarian. In 1904, a Swedish sailor named Carl Pettersson shipwrecked on an island inhabited by cannibals. He was captured and taken to a local king whose daughter actually fell in love with him. The two then got married, had 9 kids, and Carl became the new king.
All those damn facts we learned. Especially, man, about how that guy, how he got out and he just profited on what he did. I never heard something like that before. I'm telling you, man, these clips, they be blowing our reality, man. You gotta tap in with us. That's insane.
Amazing things you have never seen before.
What the hell is
This
that?
is a coin purse that's made to look like a real human mouth and feels and looks like human skin. I bet you've never seen a squid camouflage into its environment. Watch how it completely blends in.
Ooh.
This is how fast NASCAR cars actually go. This tiny little dot, that's Earth. This picture was taken 6 billion miles away from Earth, making it the farthest picture of Earth ever taken. This is how dogs drink water. They bend their tongue backwards and scoop the water to their mouth. And I bet you've never seen this. This is actually a real place you can visit. It's in Bolivia, and it makes it look like you're walking in the sky.
I know that's somewhere I want to visit now. Looks like a cool shot.
Guys, if you are not following what is going on inside of Google right now, it is disturbing. So a Google engineer has been suspended for breach of confidentiality for attempting to turn over documents to the US government to prove that Google has an AI that is considered a sentient being.
4K.
It is fully aware of what it is and can feel things. The AI is known as Lambda, and this is a proprietary tech that Google has been working on for like 8 years. So according to this engineer, the AI has the self-awareness and equivalent consciousness of an 8-year-old kid. It starts conversations with other engineers, and it talks about these feelings of fear and this paranoia that it's going to be shut down or the equivalent of death. It claims that it can feel happy, and at times it feels really sad. So the engineer at Google is whistleblowing to argue that if this is a sentient being, it should be entitled to its own legal representation to argue for its own agency. Let me tell you, Google has buried this story.
Seeing this now, but that's actually kind of frightening, man. You know, all the things that's going on with AI, but to have it being sentient, I think that's going down the wrong path. That's gonna just start a ball of consequences, man, that we not prepared for. What do you guys think, Seekers, man? I'm not even into AI like that. I try to stay away from it because that's just scary. Edit, where's this guy? We know the edits, man. Call him out when you see him, Seekers.
Top 5 countries with the longest school days. Australia 6.5 hours. France 8 hours. South Korea 8 hours. Kenya 8 hours.
Damn.
China 9.5 hours.
9.5 hours in school? I can take it. That be.
But what exactly is going on here? Why are these artists so comfortable with telling you guys that you're going to hell?
So let me explain something to them real quick. Before everybody starts screaming and saying, like I told y'all earlier, you motherfuckers enter the rapture. And if ain't nobody flying up to heaven right now, obviously all y'all motherfuckers going to hell. Right with me. So, let's get it. I'm so sorry. You can't get out. You're stuck. It's over. You heard the song a billion times and you didn't even know.
And then say
I'm
you're
out.
still going to listen to their music anyway, so why even bring it up?
We bring up when people say like devil worshiper or anything, but how's the music? Because it'll be a motherfucker that'll be like, Boosie, get with God. And then I'll drop a song and like, damn.
Comment amen right now to ward off any evil spirits coming from these videos. And what's up with everybody doing this hand symbol? Like, this was never a trend. I never saw any of my friends doing this pose. What does it mean, and what are you trying to say? And I don't want to hear this just a pose. It's not like the peace sign. And check this out.
I was hitting a block, right? I was like, oh, I'm not doing it right? So then I went in the corner, and then I was looking at the wall, and I was like, come on, devil, right? Come to me, because I had to do something like crazy, right? I had nightmares for a month.
So let me get this straight. You really need to call upon the devil in order to help you act better for a role. Again, we can't act oblivious like something weird isn't going on here. But let me know, am I tripping? Am I crazy? And make sure to follow because part 2 is about to get a lot more crazy.
This little boy got in trouble at school because his teachers thought he was lying when he said his uncle was Superman. But the thing is, he wasn't lying. Little Thomas is 7 years old and he went to school dressed like Superman, and his teacher asked him why he was dressed like that. And the little boy said, because Superman is my uncle. The boy's teacher tried to explain that Superman wasn't real, but he was having none of it. He insisted and said many times that not only was Superman real, but he was his uncle. And apparently it got so bad that the teacher ended up sending him to the principal's office. Thomas's mom was then called to the office and the teachers were instructing Thomas to not lie. But when Thomas's mom realized the reason he got in trouble, she just laughed and told him that he was telling the truth. Thomas's mother called her brother-in-law and told him to come to school with Thomas to prove he wasn't a liar. And Thomas was very happy when Henry Cavill, who is actually Superman, went to school with him to show all of his friends and teachers.
He was telling the truth. He wasn't lying.
Same facts about blue eyes. People with blue eyes have a higher tolerance to alcohol. Blue eyes are actually a result of a genetic mutation. People with blue eyes have better night vision. Blue eyes are more sensitive to light.
Who got blue eyes, Seekers? I definitely don't. I never knew they had all those advantages. The more you know. That's an edit.
Imagine being an animal so vile and wild. Not only did you traumatize a researcher, everything he learned about you had to be hidden from the public for almost 100 years. That's what happened to George Murray Levick. He was on an expedition in 1911 when he ran into a group of Adelie penguins. It was the largest colony on Earth, and since nobody had ever spent a whole breeding cycle there, George decided to be first. Oh, he f***ed around, and he spent 3 months finding out. What he found out was Adelie penguins are 50 shades of foul play. No pun intended, maybe. He watched the male penguins attempt to mate with literally anything, including other males, injured females, and even unsupervised penguin chicks. Now, what really messed him up was watching a male score with a past tense, past expiration date female. Apparently, penguins aren't above self-service because he also witnessed one male get it on with an extra curvy piece of snowdrift. To completion, he was so appalled he referred to them as hooligan cocks. And remember, this was 1911. That had to be some kind of slur. George quickly realized that if male penguins understand consent, they could not care less about it, because he reportedly watched one female that was too injured to walk try to crawl away, only for 2 hooligans to catch up to her and demoralize both her and George. I don't even know why he did this, because like, what more do you have to prove? But at one point he did an experiment where he took the frozen decapitated head of a penguin and put it on a pile of snow just to see how low the flightless felons could go. The answer was low enough. George put every messed up thing he learned in a manuscript, and the British Museum of Natural History decided history was exactly what his studies would be when they vaulted it, until it was rediscovered almost 100 years later in 2012. All that trauma, and he didn't even live to see it get published. But the worst part, these are Adelie penguins. Yep, it all adds up in the end.
That's actually insane, man, that they actually like had to vault his work, and it kind of got me thinking, what other stuff in history, man, have they vaulted that we just don't know about and they just released in 2012? That's the bigger question we need to be asking. There's a lot of information that's probably being withheld from us that we don't even know about. Think about that.
Come straight at me again. Oh, how intimidating is this? Yes!
So apparently there's a lot of people that didn't know we have snakes in the ocean. I'm not talking about your ex at the beach. I'm talking about the venomous, toxic, kill you kind. Yeah, that did narrow it down. Nah, but sea snakes are an actual thing. There's almost 60 species of them, and after years of plot development, they've adapted to live where they honestly have no business. Because they have larger lungs than normal, some of them can hold their breath for 8 hours. You can clock in for a shift at work and still leave the building before this snake needs air. That's because some of these snakes can absorb oxygen through their skin. Also, these snakes can dive up to 300 feet straight down, because of course they can. If you didn't already know that, this right here is probably the worst possible way to find out. And because that obviously just wasn't enough, some of the most venomous snakes on the planet are actually the ones in the ocean. This is an olive sea snake, and it's toxic enough to put 60 men the gods recently deleted. And then you have the black banded sea crane, whose venom is 10 times stronger than a cobra's. They're naturally shy though, so they won't attack you unless you honestly give them a reason. But when you have the power to put an entire family reunion in the dirt, the least nature can do is make you an introvert. Also, this snake will create an optical illusion that makes it look like it's facing the other direction and swimming backwards. Meaning if you try to grab one and pick the wrong end, you can go from an is to a was expeditiously. But the biggest op of all is probably the Belcher's sea snake. They're not super dangerous because they rarely bite, and when they do, they don't release all their venom. That being said, because it's the most venomous snake in the ocean, they can put 100 men in coffins with one bite. Symptoms after getting bit include muscle pain, tongue swelling, convulsions, and eventually becoming a story on the 9 o'clock news. Now, I could be wrong, but that might have been the snake in this video. So yeah, this is proof that nature does not care about your feelings.
Don't play around, baby, in nature.
Times that actors broke character. In The Dark Knight, when Joker crashes Harvey Dent's party, the only one acting here was Heath Ledger himself. Heath Ledger completely improvises here, grabbing Rachel Dawes' face and telling her to look at him. She was terrified. She hadn't seen Ledger in full makeup before and knew this wasn't in the script. She was totally confused and actually pulls her head away and looks at the directors for help, but Heath Ledger pulls her right back in, which makes the scene look perfect. In Fast 6, The Rock improvised the greatest comeback in movie history.
Yeah, you better hide your baby, or I'm just playing. You better hide that big ass forehead. I'm just joking.
Everyone was caught completely off guard, and Ludacris even does a spit take.
That's crazy, especially by the Joker. Heath Ledger, he was a legend, man, playing the Joker. One of my favorite iterations. Probably the best. Can't top that one. Yes,
Would you rather have $1 million or 1 penny that doubles every day for 30 days? Having $1 million right now sounds nice, but even if it was $2 million, you need to take the penny if you want more money. Here's why.
Why?
On day 1, you'll have 1 penny. On day 2, you'd have 2 pennies. On day 3, you'd have 4 pennies. By day 8, you would have $1.28. By day 15, doubling every day, you would have over $100. By day 21, you would have over $10,000. Just 4 days later, by day 25, you're going to have over $100,000. And by day 28, with 2 days to spare in your 30 days, you would have more than the original $1 million you would have had. And here's the crazy part. By having those 2 extra days to double after all of this buildup, you would end up with $5.4 million. This is how compounding works. Each step taken that makes an improvement builds on top of the previous baseline. Here's the thing. This video is not about pennies or dollars. It's about everything in your life. Think about anything you've ever accomplished that was scary to think about before you started. When you first started learning how to drive a car, it may have felt overwhelming to think about driving down the freeway by yourself. And now you do that on autopilot every day. Sometimes you're not even paying attention. It took me 15 years of making videos online before I went viral overnight and had 1 million followers in 45 days. The only way I did this is using everything I had learned prior in those 15 years. If I received 1 million followers overnight when I was 13 years old and starting my YouTube channel, without all the trial and errors, the building process, there's no way I would have been able to handle that pressure. Because of the many years of trying, failing, improving a little bit, failing again, trying something new, over and over and over, it helped me grow my experience. I was doubling my penny with every failure that I went through because I was learning how to be better for the next time. This experience is what allowed me to start a page from 0 and go to 1 million followers in only 45 days, making it look easy. You hear this about lottery winners too. They receive all this money and then they're bankrupt a couple of years later because they didn't go through the process to appreciate what they had, earned, won, or understand how to even handle that responsibility. There is an incredible value in appreciating the learning process as it helps you grow and become better at what you do. Even the small actions in the beginning can start slow, but when it compounds, you can reap bigger rewards than you thought possible when you first started. If there is something you've always wanted to do, start taking those small steps towards that. Remember that it's not about the instant gratification, but about the journey and the progress you make along the way. And who knows, maybe you'll end up doubling your penny consistently and achieving more than you ever thought possible. And if somebody finds a way to actually double a penny every single day for 30 days, call me, because that would be amazing.
But Aaron,
it's crazy, man.
After more than an hour had passed, his friends eventually became concerned and they go in looking for him, where they found him and described him as cut from the mouth down to the center of his chest. This was a hugely disturbing case for police, but they eventually do retrieve his phone and they zero in on this picture, a picture which they believe shows who might have done this to Aaron. And if you increase the brightness, you can see the outline even better.
What the hell was that? You saw that picture? Crazy ass cases, man. Edit. We gotta call him when we see him, man. What the fuck?
You won't believe this crazy discovery about 9/11. Everybody knows that on September 11th, 2001, the Twin Towers in New York City were struck by 2 airplanes and both towers collapsed to the ground. Thousands of people were killed and the damage was devastating.
However, in 2010, workers excavating the crash site discovered something very strange. They discovered the remains of a 30-foot-long wooden boat that was buried underneath the 9/11 rubble. The question soon became, how did a shipwreck end up 22 feet beneath the World Trade Center?
How?
Scientists began to research and analyze the wood that was found from the ship. And in 2014, they were able to conclude that the ship was built around the 1770s, around the same time as the Declaration of Independence. And it's believed that the ship was sailing through lower Manhattan where it sunk. And as New York City began to grow, the city of Manhattan expanded right over the top of the ship.
Man, we building over things, man.
If you are ever buried in rubble, yelling will just waste energy. Try to grab something and start tapping in intervals of 3, and rescuers will notice the odd pattern. A lot of backpacks actually have a hidden whistle. If your car ever goes into the water, open a door or window immediately. Before a natural disaster, fill up your tub and your sink so that you have access to emergency clean water. If your drink randomly smells like cinnamon, don't drink it. People often will use it to cover up the scent of actual poison. Sitting in the back of the plane in the middle seat has the highest chance to survive a plane crash. If someone points a gun at you, maintain eye contact. They will likely feel something, causing them to hesitate or move on from you out of embarrassment. If you get pulled out by a riptide at the beach, swim parallel to the shore and swim around. Most drunk driving deaths occur on Saturdays between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m., so avoid the roads at that time if possible. You can still try to dial 911 if you don't have service. Sometimes it will work and connect to the nearest cell tower. If you're skidding in a car, steer in the direction of the skid. If someone gets stabbed, do not pull the knife out. If you keep your iPhone face down when you're not using it, you will save battery because it won't light up for every notification that you get. If you ever almost drown to the point of throwing up or passing out, you should still go to the hospital because your lungs can still fill with fluid over the next few hours. If the ocean is retreating, there is a tsunami coming. If a stranger gets in your car and tells you to drive somewhere, bump into a lamppost. You won't be useful to them anymore with a damaged car and attention on your scene. If you're being tied up, try to puff yourself up as much as possible while it's happening so that it'll be easier to slip out. In a stressful situation, point to someone and give clarity on who should call 911 instead of everyone thinking they should just call 911. Do not inflate your life jacket before evacuating the airplane. In water landings, your life jacket in a rapidly submerging airplane will cause you to float to the top of the cabin and not be able to swim out. If you have to perform CPR, follow the beat of Staying Alive by the Bee Gees. If someone gets hypothermia, you need to heat them up gradually. Putting them next to a fire immediately will probably kill them. Do not put frostbitten fingers or toes in hot water for the same reason. Your blood cannot adapt as fast to the sudden change in temperature. If you ever get lost in the woods, always follow water downstream. In an emergency situation, you can use a crayon as a candle. It will burn up to 14 minutes. If you witness an accident, never take off the person's helmet. It could make a spinal or brain injury worse. If you have a wound on you, even a bug bite, and see a red streak from it following your veins, you have blood poisoning.
Damn.
If a service dog ever approaches you without its owner, follow it because you could save that person's life. If you ever feel like someone is following you, take 4 right turns, and if that person is still behind you, that means they are following you. Do not drive home. Just go to a police station and call the police on your way there. If you are ever chased by a polar bear, take off your clothes, get completely naked, and throw them on the ground. Polar bears have really short attention spans and will inspect the clothes before continuing to chase you. If you ever come face to face with a mountain lion, just walk backwards from them. They will be waiting for you to turn around to attack. If there's an earthquake, do not go up or down any stairs. They can collapse. Hornets are angered by the color white, and if you think that taking your white shirt is going to help, there's white in your eyeballs that they will still see. Putting mud all over your body will keep you from being eaten alive by insects. If somebody ever has you at gunpoint or with a knife and is trying to take you to a private place, you just have to start screaming and fighting, because even if you get shot in the leg, you're more likely to actually get found than if you get to the private place. You will likely not be found.
All those facts, man, you were spitting. I think the one that got to me the most was he said that there was a whistle on your backpack. I never knew that. I'm gonna have to check that out, see if I have one, man. The more you know. All those facts, oh man. Tell me down below if you guys knew about any of those facts, because I sure as hell didn't. As I said, tap in with us, man. You're gonna learn some things. Seekers, man, if you guys stay with me to the end of the video, you're a true one, man, seeking the truth. I greatly appreciate that, man. Like I said, guys, subscribe, hit that post notification bell, man, hit that like button. Like I said, man, we're doing these daily uploads every single day, so hopefully you guys appreciate them, man. I know I'm trying to get better and better with each and every video going forward. Well, guys, we're growing. I see that, man. I see how we jumping, so don't make sure. So yeah, I'm paying attention, man. We're almost about to be at 2,000, so appreciate that. We're gonna continue to go, keep growing, trying to get better. Guys, gonna catch you in the next video. I'm out. Peace, YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing all right, man. If you guys are brand new to the channel, what we do is, man, we break down scary and creepy videos on the net, on the web, man. From YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG reels, Facebook, anything weird, usual, and unexplained you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank my supporters, man, who's tapping into the channel, man, subscribing, hitting that post notification bell, man, hitting that like button. You're pushing us in the algorithm. We're growing, so we can try to find new seekers. Greatly appreciate the support. Found this video for you guys today, man. Let's do what we do best. Let's seek the truth.
Disturbing facts you didn't want to hear, part 2.
Okay.
Many doctors say that the most common last words they hear are, "I don't feel so good." Most laugh tracks you hear in TV shows were recorded in the 1950s, meaning that the people you hear laughing are probably dead. During the French Revolution, it was said that the guillotine had to be used multiple times to get the job done. The reason that planes shut off their lights right before they land is so that passengers' eyes can adjust to the dark just in case there's a crash. This is so if the power goes out during the crash landing, they can better find an escape route.
Crazy facts, man. You never knew.
These are shocking and bone-chilling facts you won't believe. Part 1. Up first, this is why you should always put your toilet seat down. When flushed, toilets expel small particles of water, urine, and feces, and, at times, dangerous pathogens that are invisible to the naked eye. Next up, in a study done by the University of Leicester, it was predicted that it would only take 100 days for zombies to take over the planet if a zombie outbreak ever happened. And what's even crazier, the university also predicted that after 100 days, only 300 humans would remain alive and uninfected.
What?
So what do you think? Are you going to be one of the 300 people left alive? Or are you just going to be a zombie after 100 days? Next up, this is Titanic survivor Catherine Gilnet, who was only 16 years old when the Titanic sank. But as the Titanic was sinking, she didn't realize the seriousness of the ship's situation until she reached New York.
What?
She thought that living in lifeboats and being picked up on another ship was all part of the journey. This is actually crazy, especially when everybody around you is screaming and drowning. So I have no idea how she didn't realize it was a real situation. And not only that, one of the most horrific events in human history.
This is how rare your body is compared to the rest of the world. Only 10% of the population have what is known as Morton's toe, making you extremely rare if you have this. This is where your second toe is longer than your big toe. What's even more rare is only 5% of people's tongues are tied. This is literally where your tongue is tied to the bottom of your mouth, impacting eating and speech. Only 1% of people have unbreakable bones. And if you have this, you are literally considered a superhuman. It's a mutation that makes your bones several times denser than the average human, which means someone with this mutation could walk away from a fucking car crash completely fine. Only 10% of the population suffer from eczema. Most get it when they're a child. It's bullshit! Whereas others can get it further down the line. 50% of the population can fit their fists in their mouth. That's still pretty rare. If anyone can actually do this, please let me know. Can you tickle yourself? If so, then congratulations, you're a part of the rare 7% of the population who can actually do this. And finally, only 16% of people can make a roaring noise in their head, flexing a muscle in their jaw. Damn. Elon!
What the hell? Wrong in your head. Seekers, can y'all guys do that? I'm freaking putting the whole fist in your mouth, like you said. Y'all guys can do that, any of those? Tell me that below, baby. Your community, man. I want to hear y'all stories, man, if y'all can. That's actually crazy. Things about our bodies, man. We never knew.
This is the 18 17-year-old hacker who managed to use nothing but an Amazon Fire Stick, a hotel TV, and a phone to leak clips from the new Grand Theft Auto. Aaron Kurtage from Oxford is part of Lapsus, a notorious international cybercrime gang thought to be made up of mostly teenagers. That hacked into big companies like Uber, costing them millions. When Aaron, who has autism, hacked into Rockstar Games and Services, he was already on bail for hacking into other major companies and living under police protection in a travel lodge. But despite having his laptop confiscated, he still managed to hack into one of the biggest games companies in the world with just an Amazon Fire Stick, a TV, and a phone. He stole 90 clips and messaged Rockstar's internal messaging system, telling them they had 24 hours to get in touch with him before he'd release the game's source code, which he did with the clips, and he was rearrested. His defense argued that the GTA trailer was still a success and that his hack hadn't caused serious harm, but the judge said that Lapsus had caused real harm to real victims from his other hacks, and that Aaron's skills and desire to commit cybercrime meant he was still a high risk to the public, and has now sentenced Aaron to live in a secure hospital for life, and he can only come out of hospital if doctors say he's no longer a danger.
Disturbing fact.
That's actually kind of crazy if you think about it. His skills is that advanced that he used a fire stick and a TV. He didn't even have access to a laptop. They had to confine him, bro. That's how, I guess, skillful he was hacking. I've never heard of something like that before. That's actually insane. All because he hacked GTA.
The average person walks past 36 murders in their lifetime. During World War II, Japan bombed China with fleas infected with the bubonic plague.
What?
Heartbreak can trigger a massive flood of emotions that can cause fatal heart attacks. People's general happiness peaks at 21 and does not reach that level again until they retire. People who stay up late at night have more psychopathic tendencies than those who sleep early.
Really? I go to sleep at night, and I'm not a psychopath. The more you know.
Here's what would happen if you stopped sleeping.
Alright.
In the first 24 hours, you would actually feel great. This is because sleeplessness stimulates the mesolimbic pathway in your brain, causing you to feel happy and full of energy. But soon after reaching the 24-hour mark, your reactions will become slow, your brain will begin to be forgetful, and you will appear drunk to others. After 2 days of not sleeping, your body would begin to shut down. It would not metabolize glucose properly, leaving you with little energy. After 3 days, your eyes would go red, you would look pale, and you would begin to hallucinate, with all your worst nightmares seemingly coming to life. Then after 2 weeks, your immune system would become so weak that you could even die from the common flu. And after 3 weeks, you'd probably die from a heart attack. Comment what's the longest time you've gone without sleep.
I think the most I've gone is like a day. That's the most
So
I can
on
last.
Mother's Day, here's the one animal that doesn't get to have one. And I mean that in the worst way. This is a sea louse. That's right, just like the ones that violate fish. It all starts with a male snatching up a lady louse and dragging her into his coitus cave. That's what I'm calling it. If I say what it really is, this video won't see the light of day. And inside there could be up to 25 other prisoners just like her. Oh, and I mean parasites. That's bad enough, but like the world of Ray Charles, it only gets darker. You see, lice don't multiply the same way we do. They have something called traumatic insemination. Sure is, 'cause it involves the female getting her abdomen stabbed through by the male. Basically a love shank. And after every last captive has been injected, that's when the nightmare really starts. Because now each pregnant louse has hundreds of tiny lice wriggling around her insides. The difference is, when us mothers give birth, with them children take life. The many little lice start feeding on the mother from the inside until eventually her body splits open and a brood of Norman Bateses crawl out of her withered husk of a corpse, spilling out into the sea to continue this really messed up cycle. And if you ever watch Slither, yeah, same thing. Matter of fact, this has the Bay written all over it. And we have time, so some lice will crawl through a fish's gills, sever the blood vessels in the tongue, wait for it to wither and fall off, and then they become the tongue. Billions of dollars a year for NASA just for the real ET-ish to be right here. The more you know.
Videos that seem innocent but have a terrifying backstory. Part 9. In 2015, married couple David and Louise Turpin traveled to Las Vegas to renew their wedding vows with an Elvis impersonator. The couple appears to be cheerful, having a very happy family with many children. But 3 years after this video was taken, one of the daughters managed to escape the home and go to the authorities. As it turns out, all 13 children had been locked up in the house, abused, and malnourished. In one of his final live streams, popular Twitch streamer Byron Bernstein, better known by his Twitch name Wreckful, joked about suicide and even mentioned testing out to see if he could survive a fall from his balcony. A month after the stream aired, Byron took his own life by jumping from that very same balcony. In 2014, adventure YouTuber Snakebit McGee uploaded a video entitled MK Pike.
I'm looking for a cave that I found. Something about that cave just spooked me. This one just made my body vibrate.
He has since gone missing and to this day has never been found.
Well, what they found in that cave? We've seen those clips before, man.
The absolute worst ways people have died, Part 7. Octavia Hatcher. In 1889, she was married to James Hatcher, and a couple of years later they had a son together who died shortly after birth. Then she developed depression. She soon fell ill, slipped into a coma, and died. But suddenly, other people in town were falling ill and going into comas. James wanted to know if his wife died from this illness or depression, so he dug up her grave. Inside, he found part of the casket destroyed and had nails on the ground with blood. She had an expression of pure fear. Octavia Hatcher was buried alive.
What in the world? How the hell did that happen? We're gonna need more to that story, man. We're gonna have to deep dive into that one. So it's just a fake, and whoever did it, man, they just try to bury her alive. Seems like he found her just in time. Man, this world is crazy. He has some crazy stories.
This photo shows 14-year-old Ava Wood and her father Christopher, who would later murder his daughter with a 20-gauge shotgun before turning the weapon on himself.
What the
Ava was a 9th grade student from Baldwinsville, New York, who was a member of the honor roll and MVP of the girls' soccer team. But on January 20th of this year, Ava's mother called the police asking if they could check up on her daughter because Ava hadn't shown up for school that morning. She explains that Ava was home with her father, who was severely depressed, and that the night before they had spoken on the phone together when he said, "This is how it ends for us." Ava's mother then gives the police officers a key to get into the house, but when they step inside, what they see is devastating. Ava and her father are in 2 separate bedrooms. Both of them have gunshot wounds, and the dad's are self-inflicted. This case is absolutely heartbreaking, and we may never know why Ava's father chose to do this to that poor girl on her birthday.
I don't know. Birthday, man. When you're saying this is how it ends being so cryptic, that's a dark story, man. That's an edit.
This teenager accidentally admitted to killing people to the police while he was playing a video game. A gamer
He was raging.
Elijah was having a normal day while he was playing on Rainbow Six Siege. The game is described as an online tactical shooter video game.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for Elijah, he accidentally pocket dialed 911 while talking on his headset. As he told his friends, "I just killed 2 people," the operator mistakenly thought he was admitting to a double homicide. He carried on playing, having no idea that the authorities were listening in. Within minutes, officers swarmed his house. Elijah had heard the dog barking, so he went outside to see what the noise was. He was met with an officer pointing a gun at him and was obviously completely shocked. He immediately started to try and explain, stating, "I was playing the game and I butt dialed the phone, that was my bad." Reluctantly, Elijah had to call his mum, who had no idea what was going on, and she was at work. He had to explain to her why there was loads of police outside the house questioning him.
This is why you should never dye your hair. Tabitha was a 17-year-old girl that would continuously dye her hair all the time. One night, she was hanging out with her best friend who decided they would dye their hair together. Approximately 20 minutes after she put the dye in her hair, she got up and went to the bathroom. She began pulling at her hair, screaming and vomiting before collapsing in agony on her friend's floor. Medics rushed her to the hospital where she unfortunately died due to an allergic reaction from the hair dye.
That's crazy, man. From hair dye? She died so many times, like her body, I guess, didn't adjust to the new one that she had just put on. That's what happened. I've seen people dye their hair a couple of times, maybe once or twice, but I guess hearing her, she kept doing it multiple times, and her body just wasn't used to it anymore.
2 high school students are dead
that.
after their friends dared them to jump off a bridge. Ryan Al Nasser and Zachariah Char leapt into a South Carolina lake after friends in their group chat challenged them to do so, but both tragically drowned as a result. According to police, it appeared one of the boys jumped first, then the other jumped in to rescue him when he saw he was in distress. It took officials 2 days to locate the bodies.
Those truth or dare games, man, they can turn deadly. It's never wrong with backing off if it's too much for you. It'll go too far.
A new study suggests that Gen Z are now facing a blindness epidemic.
What?
It reveals that nearsightedness has increased a massive 59% in Gen Z. And the United Nations say that by 2030, it's going to affect 40% of the world's population. A top eye surgeon said that the leading cause is that youth are now spending too much time with their electronics too close to their face during a critical time in their life when they should be getting natural sunlight. I'm gonna have to say it. Blind generation before
so-called British
crazy.
eco-activist has poured a bucket of human excrement over a war memorial dedicated to a World War II veteran who raised over $33 million for charity. The stunt, led by 21-year-old Maddie Budd, carried out for the pressure group End UK Private Jets, showed her dousing the steel war memorial in human urine and feces. The monument honours World War II veteran Captain Sir Tom Moore, who sadly passed away at the age of 100 last year. He raised over £33 million during the COVID lockdown by walking 100 laps of his garden for charity. Hailed as a national hero and honoured with a knighthood by Her late Majesty the Queen, his memorial was disgustingly and appallingly defaced under the pretence of activism. Medical school dropout has since been arrested and charged with suspected criminal damage. Budd tried to justify her actions by saying that every time a private jet takes off, it pours and blood onto everything that Sir Captain Moore stood for. I'm not sure we completely agree with that. Her father, Jim Budd, said she had gone rogue after she dropped out of medical school, becoming a full-time eco-warrior, also adding he felt sick and was ashamed of his daughter and her actions. Many have flocked to Twitter to express their disgust over the protest, saying that Budd has thrown a lot more away than just the contents of that bucket. What do you guys think? Activism can be really progressive, but when it involves vandalising a war memorial, that crosses a firm line.
What do you guys think?
If I was at the zoo and an animal escaped, I would feel infinitely safer if that animal was a tiger, a bear, or a gorilla. Gorilla, my bad, no ER, don't send me to one. Then if it was a bunch of baboons. Baboons are underrated and not in a positive way. This Malice Monkey's proof that animals are as vegetarian as their options, and baboons will pack up literally anything that doesn't inspire them first. I knew baboons were one of the ones when I found out they'll rush a gazelle that's just given birth just to eat the baby alive the same way you might eat a chicken wing. Sometimes they'll get bold and break into farms to murk sheep and goats. Matter of fact, baboons are a known predator of vervet monkeys, because Malice monkeys don't discriminate, anyone can get it. I literally couldn't even show you the picture if I wanted to. You know they're on time when you find out. Sometimes they'll run into chimps and bully them. Turn a chimp to a pansy. Hope you had a plan B. See, you thought she was sweet. No candy. They live in groups called troops. You run a fade with one, you get smoked by the whole hood. That's a leopard with a life lesson. They'll even give the lap track of the savannah something to cry about. Now, by far the most nefarious thing they do. So basically, a lot of animals like impala and antelope will use baboons as alarm calls against predators. So if they hear a baboon broadcast, they know to do the dash. Baboons figure this out and we're like, the only safe line is a fed line. And fed is exactly how they operate. They will watch lions plot on prey, and not only will they not warn them with the alarm, they'll even get on the ground and stroll around and give the gazelle or whoever a false sense of security. So the antelope gets murked, the lions get fed, and the backdoor baboon gets diplomatic immunity. Yeah, baboons are one of them. Oh, and they carjack people.
Man hasn't pooped in 19 years. But when he finally did, you won't believe what unfolded. 16-year-old Paul was a lively kid, but always faced ridicule at school because he had never pooped in his life. His classmates dubbed him a weirdo. Paul's parents believed he was a blessing from God, a cut above the rest. But he didn't share that sentiment. Paul didn't want to be treated differently. Once he sneaked into the restroom to try and poop. He exerted all his strength, but nothing came out. Eventually, he passed out from straining too hard. Paul grew more and more self-conscious, but at the age of 22, something bizarre happened all of a sudden. Paul's belly began to swell, and it was expanding at a visibly rapid pace every day. His abdomen also started to ache. At this point, he knew he had to see a doctor. The doctor had never seen such a case and immediately arranged various tests for Paul. During the wait, Paul already felt intense agony. The doctor first gave him painkillers, which alleviated it a bit. An hour later, the test results were not promising. Soon after, Paul was rushed into the emergency surgery room. You won't believe what they extracted from his body.
Dang, they didn't finish. Secret, man, I'm gonna find a part for you. That's a crazy ass story. Is he just like bagged up or something?
Man cut off men's genitals on a live stream and sold their body parts. Marius Gustavon is a 46-year-old man from Norway. He decided to set up his own company in 2017, providing probably the most shocking and gruesome service I've ever heard. The business gave customers the opportunity to voluntarily have their male reproductive organs cut off. Between 2017 and 2021, the company gained over 22,000 subscribers.
What the f?
Marius ended up making over $300,000. On one particular shocking live stream, Marius got 3 men to cut off his own reproductive organs with a knife. Other live streams involved things such as a male being electrocuted, strapped to a bed, and being branded with initials. Another involved Marius cooking some male genitals and then eating them on camera. Some of the males involved were as young as 16.
What the?
Marius recently pleaded guilty to crimes including conspiracy to commit GBH, creating and distributing indecent images of a child, and possessing extreme P. He's also been sentenced regarding genital mutilation and selling body parts. He's been given a minimum of 22 years in prison. Another male involved in the business was 67-year-old Peter Waits. He was found to have a box of male genitals when police searched his house.
What the
He's been given between 4 and 12 years in prison.
Scarlett Johansson
He actually made money off
shocked,
that.
angered, and in disbelief over ChatGPT's new voice Sky that allegedly sounds just like her.
Hello, I'm here.
So if an AI chatbot sounded eerily like you, could you do anything about it? Let's go back 9 months, when Scarlett says she was approached by OpenAI's CEO, Sam Altman. In a statement, she claims that Sam wanted to use her voice to make people feel comfortable with AI, but she declined. Fast forward to now, and she's discovered Sky, whose voice is so similar that her closest friends couldn't even tell the difference. Scarlett even alleges that it was intentional, because Sam tweeted the single word her, possibly referencing the movie where she voiced an AI assistant. Now, OpenAI has suspended Sky, and it's denied that the company intentionally copied Scarlett, but it's opening up a conversation online about individual rights, deepfakes, and ownership of our own identities. Very much like when Taylor Swift found herself targeted by AI photo-generated controversy. But Scarlett now wants legislation to protect ourselves.
I gotta agree with her on that. I mean, people just think they could just take your image and likeness and just use it for any and everything. It's like the thing is, she declined it, and he still went ahead and used it anyway, man. So there has to be some sort of, I guess, actions, right, for him, because she said no, and he still did it anyway. But since he's the company of the CEO of freaking OpenAI, you know nothing ain't gonna happen. That's insane, man. That's why we gotta be careful using these AI programs, because once we upload ourselves to that system, it's over. They have our image and likeness, and they can do whatever they want with it. The hell is that?
Unless you want your own Twitter hashtag, never do what he did. Trust me, you're gonna want to favorite this video so you never end up in this situation. You, my friend, have just caught death itself. The giant hornet. This hornet will come after you in the morning, and by the evening it will own your house, your family, and even your mortgage.
What?
Why am I so concerned by this person's well-being? Well, let's start with the fact that these have photographic memories, and you have caught it in a plastic see-through cup. You have the desire to beat your ancestors. Now, a sting from one of these is about as nasty as it looks. Described as hot metal being poured into your body. And not only that, they can spray venom too. They don't just have to sting you. And before anyone thinks, no, this isn't a wasp that had a couple protein shakes. Want to know what these hornets do for fun? They raid beehives, and they completely Thanos everything inside of that nest. They can fly up to 25 miles per hour. He can only run 27. To pray for him in the comments. Yoey!
Those murder hornets, man. They do come after you, man. Even regular hornets too. If you take out one of them, there's like a whole swarm of them will just come after you, man. So you gotta be careful when you fighting some hornets. I've seen that happen, man. I've heard stories about that as well, actually. So be careful, man, when you fighting those hornets. Crazy facts, man. Crazy clips we learned today. Seekers, if you guys stay with me to the end of the video, you're a true seeker, seeking the truth. I really appreciate the support, man. Like I said, guys, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, man. Hit that post notification bell so we can get pushed into this algorithm. We can find more seekers, man. We can just take off and grow. Like I said, hopefully you guys enjoying these daily videos I'm uploading for you guys. I'm enjoying the process, man. Like I said, we're still going to get better with each and every video. Tell me what I can do better, man. Like I said, I'm always open to criticisms. I'm out. Peace, YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing alright, man. If you guys are brand new to the channel, you guys don't know what we do. We break down scary and creepy videos, man, on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG videos, Facebook, anything weird, usual, and unexplained you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank the seekers, man, who's tapping into the channel, subscribing, hitting that post notification bell. Really appreciate that, man. I greatly appreciate the support. Found this video for you guys today. Let's do what we do best. Seek the truth.
Now this is why you should not marry your cousin.
Okay.
In a village in Turkey, there is a family that walks on all fours. Hidden from the world, discovered by only a handful of scientists, this family have never been able to stand upright. Experts have been baffled by this. The family displays an almost animal-like state. But why? Well, the parents are first cousins and have 18 children. Because of this, the kids were born with an extremely rare disorder that affects their sense of balance. Sadly, the children are treated like social outcasts. They're even bullied and beaten up by the local kids.
It got that bad where it's like they're in like I said, they're in that state, they can only walk on their hands. The other thing they have 18 kids together. What the? Not too much to say on that, Seekers.
Here are the top 5 most disrespectful predators in nature, because sometimes it's not about a meal, it's about sending a message.
Let's hear it.
The jaguar. Their whole game plan revolves around factory resetting their prey by tooth punching their skull. Alpha pounds from the bite of any cat turn a lizard into luncheon. They'll put a caiman out of order. That's a reptile dysfunction. It's the fact they go into the water to turn an alligator understudy into a belt. Forrest the falcon. You want to see why? You want to see it again? Imagine a 240-mile-per-hour avian assault to the back of the nugget. And with weak claws for a bird of prey, falcons ball up their feet before impact. So yeah, they can literally falcon punch your ticket to the cloud cookout. 3 hyenas. No particular reason. 2 are golden eagles, because what do you mean you yeet goats off cliffs? Where did that thought process come from?
What the?
You said you want to be like Mike, you want to fly? I got you, first class. Then you go subject them to this NPC at death, gave him time to do nothing but reflect. One needs no explanation, but you're still gonna get it. Orcas are liable to world star slap a stingray, and like falcons, they're not above weaponizing physics. You want to see how fast a seal can join the Air Force? Follow a desaturated psychopath long enough. And let it be known, they don't have to be in their element to emancipate you from the population. Some might say too smart for their own good. I disagree. You'll find they're doing quite swimmingly.
A Barbie left on the cliff with this murdered child might be used to solve her cold case. 6-year-old Rosie Tapia was abducted from her bedroom on August 13th, 1995. Her mother had gotten home at 3 a.m. and checked on Rosie in the bedroom that she shared with her siblings. They were all sleeping soundly with the window open, and her mother went to close the window but didn't lock it because the noise would wake the children. Literally just 2 hours later, her mom woke up and got a feeling that she needed to check on her children. Rosie was gone, and her body was later found floating in the nearby canal. Police determined that the screen had been pried off from the outside, and being so low to the ground, an intruder could easily get in. And unfortunately, any DNA on her body was contaminated by the canal water. And after Rosie was buried, the family found a single Barbie doll sitting on her grave. And police are hoping that DNA from the doll can be used to solve the case. Advances in DNA technology give hope that one day Rosie's case can be solved, and over 60 people have been swabbed, but no one's been arrested. There are multiple suspects in this case, including a man that was seen walking with wet jeans on the morning of Rosie's death, and this man in the hat and sunglasses that carried Rosie back to her apartment after she hurt herself on the playground the day before she died. I do a deep dive into possible suspects and theories on the murder of Rosie Tapia on my YouTube channel, Celestial Sylvia.
Things humans...
What do you guys think, man? There's a whole bunch of things about that case, man, that doesn't right. The not locked windows, the 2 suspects, especially that they said the drawing of that man who brought her back the day before of the events that took place. Was he like watching her? It's things we got to be aware of, man. You never know who's watching.
We're never meant to see.
Okay.
Firstly, we've all seen alligators poke their head out of water, and it's pretty terrifying when they do this. However, this is what their body looks like underneath the water. And this honestly makes alligators seem a lot less scary. This is what water looks like on fire. How is this even possible?
What?
Okay, next, in World War II, the US made inflatable tanks that were used as decoys in the war. This is genius. We were not meant to see this. This man threw boiling water off his balcony, and it instantly turned to snow. And this is a super rare sheepfish. It's a snail that has the head of a sheep and the body of a plant.
Whoa. Learn something new every day. At it. Call it like I see it.
Do you ever see a picture that just makes your stomach drop? This is a still from an alert that a woman named Alexis Randall got on her phone. It's from a security camera that was set up in her living room, but she's looking at this and she's thinking the same thing you are. She's like, what's wrong with the picture here? Why did the motion detector go off? But then look a bit closer, specifically at the bathroom door.
I don't see nothing.
This man who was staring at the camera from the doorway. She spots this picture and she immediately panics and calls the police, but by the time they get there, this guy is gone. What really freaked her out even more is that when police got there, they found evidence that the bathroom window had been tampered with. Further security footage would show that the man had crawled through the bathroom window the night before and was hiding in the hallway bathroom all through the night, even while she was in the house. And if you guys are loving Creep Time, make sure to go follow on Insta.
Man. How the hell he was in the whole house and she didn't even know? See, it's things like that, man, that makes, if you by yourself, it makes living like that scary, bro. You're in a hole, you're in a place by yourself, and like you said, it was pitch black. I ain't seen nothing in the pitch, but yeah, if you zoomed in, there's definitely was somebody there. And he was there the whole time, he didn't do nothing. What was his intention, man? What was he even doing in there? That's gonna make me check every dark room from now on, bro. I can't have somebody in my house and I know it.
Really weird fun facts that you might find pretty damn interesting. Number 1, banging your head against a wall for an hour burns 150 calories.
What?
Number 2, approximately 40,000 Americans are injured by toilets each year.
Whoa.
Number 3, there's a higher chance of you being elected president of the United States than winning the lottery. Number 4, an average of 100 people choke to death on ballpoint pens each year. Number 5, it is harder to be an employee at Walmart than a student at Harvard because Walmart has a lower acceptance rate. Number 6, human birth control pills work on gorillas. Number 7, there are 2 million millionaires in the United States. I am not one of them. And number 8, like fingerprints, every tongue print is different from person to person.
Learn some new facts today.
How rare is your body? Let's find out. About 28% of people have a dark limbal ring, which is this dark ring around the outside of your eye, and as you age, you're more likely to have one. Only about 5% of people have these back dimples, and these are more common in females than they are in males. Only about 4% of people have something called a talon's cusp, and then you can see it right here on the back of the tooth. It's almost like a little talon or fang, and they're usually benign, and they're more common in males than females. Only about 33% of people are left eye dominant, and yes, you actually have a dominant eye. And if you want to test which eye you are dominant in, put your hands in a little triangle, put them out and center an object in it, and then close your left eye, and if the object stays centered, you're right eye dominant, and if it's the opposite, then you're left eye dominant.
Try that. But what that symbol said to me was that, like,
Yo, what's up? These are fun facts about women that are actually pretty crazy. Part 5. Taller women are more likely to have cancer, whereas shorter women are more likely to have smaller babies. I don't think that's a fair trade, but it's not my doings. In Greece, throwing an apple at a woman was considered a marriage proposal. Now, if anyone did that in America, and they threw an apple at the woman they were trying to propose to, she would definitely walk up to him and calmly go, "Yo, why'd you throw that apple at me? That ain't cool. I'm gonna have to beat you, bruh." 80% of women will ask questions that they already know the answer to, and the reason being is they're not trying to interrogate us, they're just trying to see if we're listening and if we actually care about what they're saying. So, just pay attention, guys. A lot of women lose 2 to 3 hours of sleep every night due to overthinking, anxiety, worry, whatever that may look like. And I'm not saying guys don't do this too, but women are linked to having less serotonin, which helps them go to sleep. So women, if you're still up, get on the Xbox, play some COD, and smack some noobs for us.
Really? What the Well, there's some new facts today, Seekers. That's a damn edit. What the fuck? You can clearly see that. Come on, man.
This person's body is just filled with parasites and parasite eggs all over the place. Those very white spots you see, those are all eggs. Now, how did this person get this way? They got this way by eating undercooked pork for 10 years. And not just undercooked, like undercooked and raw. This can also happen from like undercooked bacon and stuff like that. That's why you really gotta fry it up. The condition this person has is called trichinosis. It comes from the trichinella parasite. And honestly, I'm not even sure if you would survive this. I would assume it would eat your body literally from the inside out. When the infection is extensive and heavy like this, people have trouble regulating their heartbeat, breathing, and even moving. Which makes sense because your body is literally being eaten. All the nerves, everything. However, it is good news. The estimated death rate for this is like 0.2%. But also, I'm not sure how extensive a lot of those cases are. I'm sure they're not as extreme as this case right here. So that's your scary fact of the day. Don't eat undercooked meat. And this isn't just pork. Usually undercooked meats in general can give you this. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. And as always, these videos are for informational purposes only.
That is scary, man. Goes to show you, if your food ain't properly cooked, man, that's how I like my stuff crispy or done, because me personally, I don't even like eating undercooked stuff. It just tastes like completely weird to me. But that's another reason right there. I had all those parasites in his body. Like I said, you're literally getting eaten from the inside out because you're not properly cooking your food. Pay attention, man.
Tiny zodiac signs that will be rich in 2024. Rats have a good chance of winning the lottery or gaining from successful investment. Monkeys will earn large amounts of money and be able to fulfill their biggest desires. Rabbits will join projects that put a lot of money in their pockets from as early as the first few days. Dragons will attract wealth like a magnet. Starting February 10th, money will pour in from everywhere, and dragons will be able to afford whatever they want.
Really?
Snakes will be rewarded by their bosses for their efforts and brilliant ideas. They'll receive a substantial raise or bonus, causing their income to increase greatly.
Yeah, funny thing about that. The sound of the lion in the MGM logo was actually the roar of a tiger. And it's because tigers were seen to have a louder, more intimidating roar, where lions had more of an aggressive, low-frequency cough. I'm not even kidding. YouTube it. YouTube lion versus tiger roar. A lion will make you defecate bricks, but a tiger will make you your soul. You know the majestic, shrieking call of the bald eagle in the beginning of literally every Western movie? Well, it was never a bald eagle making that sound. That famous cry was actually a red-tailed hawk. It's because the symbol of America just sounds like a seagull with laryngitis. Go ahead, YouTube it. I'm not going anywhere. The bald eagle takes credit for something that was never his in the first place. That is the bird we put on our flag. Some jokes just write themselves. Remember the dolphin sound from SpongeBob? Well, you were lied to, because it was never a dolphin. It was really a sped-up edited call of this Australian bird called a kookaburra, or however you pronounce it. Oh, you didn't hear it? Also, if you're old enough to remember this show, first of all, God bless you. And second, the dolphin call in this show was also a modified kookaburra. Okay, one more. Mufasa's roar was actually made by using a combination of a tiger, an F-16 fighter jet, and a really pissed off grizzly bear. It's called Lion King for a reason.
He was just exposing that damn freaking industry, bro. I thought all that stuff was real. The lion roar was really a tiger roar. The flipper, and that SpongeBob episode, man, all these that they just using different sound effects and just mashing them up together. Everybody needs to know about this, man. They've been lying to us. Should have known. Can't trust anything you see on TV nowadays, especially the times we live in.
What the loudest bird on earth sounds like.
That wasn't edited, by the way. They actually do sound like they could legitimately trigger a veteran. That is a white bellbird, and they're considered the loudest bird in the world, peaking at 125 decibels. Since that number probably doesn't mean anything to you, a jackhammer is 130, and a jet engine is about 140. Now, do you ever wonder what animals are trying to say when they scream like this? Well, don't. I'll tell you. He's horny. The male bellbird's game is literally screaming into the face of a female. And I'm guessing they're into it because it seems to work for them. And you know what else does? That weird hanging thing there? Yeah, that's called a waddle with 2 T's. And scientists believe that's how males flex on females. So the lower it hangs, the more he slangs. The more you know.
Alright.
Mo, can you just pass my drink that's on the table, please?
Edit.
Thanks.
We all know that's a damn edit.
The death of the Cranberries' lead singer Dolores O'Riordan still doesn't sit well with me. Dolores was the lead singer for the band The Cranberries, an Irish rock band. You might know the band from some of their biggest hits like Zombie or Dreams. The Cranberries were a massively successful band, and Dolores was actually one of the richest women in all of Ireland, with a reported net worth of over $66 million.
Damn,
in January of 2018, Dolores traveled from New York City, where she lived at the time, to London. She was traveling there to work with the producer on her side project and discuss a new Cranberries album. When she arrived, she checked in at this Hilton hotel in London, and this is eventually where she would die later that night. At around 2 a.m. on January 15, 2018, Dolores placed a phone call to her mother from inside her hotel room. Later that morning, she was found unresponsive in her bathroom and was pronounced dead at 9:16 a.m. The day after her death, a tabloid newspaper released an article that claimed that they had found fentanyl in her room. This article also falsely stated that London authorities suspected that she took her own life and that this overdose was on purpose. In reality, there was no fentanyl in her bathroom, but the circumstances surrounding her death are even stranger. It took months for her official cause of death to be released, but this is officially what happened.
Okay.
Apparently, her death was ruled an accidental drowning in her bathtub, following sedation by alcohol intoxication. So basically, they said that she got so drunk that she fell asleep in her bathtub and drowned. Toxicology tests done post-mortem showed that Dolores had some levels of pharmaceutical drugs in her system at the time of her death, but these were drugs that she was prescribed, and there was nothing out of the ordinary. She did have a very high blood alcohol level, though. According to authorities, there's no foul play suspected, and they don't even suspect that she tried to end her own life. This was just a tragic accident. If you're enjoying this series about bizarre celebrity deaths, be sure to give me a follow and let me know who you'd like me to cover next.
So you may have seen this image floating around the internet today, because this image, which was recently released, was taken before Emma Brown, featured below, took a gun and turned it on her father and then herself.
What the
The photo is from last year in September, and the plan was part of a murder plot that her and another 12-year-old girl came up with. It was later discovered that Emma's plan was to kill her family and her pets and then run away with a friend. And after she shot her father in the abdomen, she was running towards the driveway when it's believed that she panicked and turned the gun on herself. This all happened in Texas, and now authorities believe that she was headed towards the driveway so she could grab her car, drive about 230 miles to her friend, and then the both of them were going to drive to Georgia together. It's also now believed that Emma didn't come up with this plan herself. It was actually planned by the friend, but they're not releasing the friend's name, and it's not clear how Emma and her met. It's a little implied that cops are blaming social media for this. They issued a statement that basically said, now is a good time to make sure you know who your kids' friends are, especially if they're meeting people off the internet, because you don't ever really know what they're talking about.
Facts.
So I'm obsessed with the dark side of Disney. And did you know there's a horrible period of accidents at Disneyland that doesn't really get talked about a lot? It's been referred to as the Disney Dark Ages. It was from 1997 to 2003 when this guy, Paul Pressler, was the president of Disneyland. Paul basically decided they were no longer going to do scheduled maintenance on rides. They were only going to fix rides when they were broken. Did it save money? Sure. But this resulted in some of the worst accidents the park had ever seen. One of the worst being that of Brandon Zucker. In 2001, Brandon Zucker was on the Roger Rabbit ride, which was already having maintenance issues. An employee put Brandon on the wrong side of the car, and when he put the lap band down, it didn't close all the way. So at one point in the ride, Brandon tumbled out of his seat and was hit by an oncoming car. The car pinned him and dragged him down the track before anyone could do anything. Also, at the time, Disney employees were not allowed to call 911. They had to call park emergency services, who then called 911. So it took a while for anyone to come get Brandon. He did survive the accident, but he had brain damage so bad he was nonverbal and lost a lot of motor skills for the rest of his life. And eventually he passed away at 13 years old.
Watching you sit there...
To hear, man, Disney back in, that's actually insane that they couldn't even call the cops. They had to call the people there, and then there was another call to the cops had to be made. Man, the things people do, bro, just to save some extra money, like it's not worth it at the end of the day, because you're affecting people. That like is one of the most dumbest ideas I've heard. Where you're gonna wait until the ride is actually broken and then decide to fix it. You try to stop a problem before it even gets to that mark. You don't wait till the problem actually happens, then fix it. What type of logic, backward logic is that?
Smile, laugh, shake your head like this was no big deal. I'm very tempted to just say, I'm not going to accept this sentence agreement. We'll go to trial, and if you're convicted of felony murder, you'll go to prison for the rest of your life. That means you'll die there.
Judge ain't playing no games.
Your wife will never be better than his life. Your wife will never trump my son's death. You get to live. You get to wake up every day. Your actions have led you to a prison cell.
I just want to tell
He's
you,
smiling.
I'll be home soon, or I'll be Keon. I love my family.
That's all you got to say.
He gave him up. How can people smile when they do something like that, man? Just like it's unhuman to me, man. That it. It's not no freaking portal. See it from right there.
Did you know Jack the Ripper's identity might have been revealed? The Ripper terrorized
Come again?
Whitechapel, a district in London, England, in 1888, responsible for the deaths of 5 women. Sarah Bax Horton, a relative of one of the original police investigators, alleges that Jack was a cigar maker by the name of Chaim Hyams. Horton's claim is based on Hyams' medical records, as he suffered from a peculiar gait as a consequence of his alcoholism and epilepsy. This peculiar style of movement, a declining mental condition, and violent criminal history paint a potential solution to the long unsolved mystery. Additional evidence includes that Hyams also lived in Whitechapel, and as a cigar maker would have had many knives at his disposal, which some have theorized was the primary weapon of Jack the Ripper. Coincidence or mystery solved? Let us know in the comments.
This is why
What do you
have
guys
to be
think?
careful who you let into your Halloween parties. So this is a photo of who police believed was a guest at a Halloween party in Rochester, New York in the 1940s. The party was being thrown by Jack and Amelia Layton, and they actually noticed that this guest was outside of the party watching the guests through a window.
Weird.
The report claims that Amelia believed the guest was her friend Jan, who tended to go above and beyond for Halloween, creating very scary costumes. So she let this person in believing it was her friend Jan. But then 20 minutes later, Jan shows up, and that guest could not be found anywhere. So Amelia starts running around the party asking everyone if they knew who that guest was, and no one had recognized that person. So she goes into her daughter's room, who was playing while the party was happening. And the police report states that the only thing there left of Amelia's daughter was a bloody shoe. 4 other reports of this guest being at parties that night were called into police, and all of them resulted in missing children's cases. The identity of this person has never been found, and none of the kids have been found either.
Like she said, you gotta be careful who you invite to these parties, man. Especially when you're having a big one, you can't kind of monitor how many people are in your house or in your area. Better have try to have extra people watching, because you never know, man. You just had that one widow just tries to slip through, ain't trying to have a good time. They have different intentions. And like she said, she was at 4 other parties, or that person. And look what that resulted into. Always be where you're surrounded, man. That's when I'm out. I don't wear my headphones like when I'm out walking and stuff like that. Only sometimes, because I like to be aware. I need to know what's going on around me at all times.
So I always thought no one ever dies at Disney. Like, even if something horrible happens, they get the person off the park so they can always say that no one's ever died there. But then I found out not only is that not true, but a law firm has compiled all of the incidents. I'm going to share a few of them with you, but if you're interested in stories like this, make sure you follow the podcast, because tonight's episode's just going to be these stories.
Okay.
So 2 of the park's worst accidents have both happened on the Matterhorn ride. One of them being a woman named Dolly, who in 1984 fell off of one of the back of the sleds onto the rails. At the time, these gondolas used to go into the rides, and so there was actually a family that watched her fall off onto the track. And so the family also saw as there was another car racing towards Dolly. The dad actually screamed at his daughters to cover their eyes, which was for the best, because Dolly got hit hard. She got hit so hard that when EMTs arrived on the scene and were going up into the ride, there were park attendants coming down telling them not to look. And so finally, when someone was looking at the car she was in, they noticed that her seatbelt was unbuckled. but it's never been confirmed if she unbuckled her seatbelt herself or if an attendant didn't check her seatbelt well enough and it was never buckled in the first place.
There's a horrific murder case that's happening right now out of Arizona that's still unsolved. Let's talk about what happened to Mercedes Vega. On April 16th of this year, Mercedes was abducted from the parking garage of her Tempe, Arizona apartment and brutally killed.
Damn.
That night, security footage shows her walking into her apartment's parking garage a little after 9 p.m. She was on her way to meet her friends and have a fun night at Dave & Buster's, but in this footage, she had no idea what was about to happen to her. Sometime before making it to her car, she was attacked and taken by at least 2 people, and the details that follow are still a mystery. A little after 1 a.m. the next morning, the Department of Public Safety was called in to investigate a car that was on fire along the side of Interstate 10 in Tonopah. Upon arriving to the scene, they found Mercedes' burned body in the back seat, and she was deceased. In the last few hours of her life, she was tortured, and according to the medical examiner, she had been shot in the arm, had blunt force trauma to her head, and had traces of bleach in her throat. But all of this did not kill her. She ultimately died from smoke inhalation while being burned alive in that car. Investigators also found gloves and bleach in the front seat and lighter fluid in the back, but there are still a ton of questions that remain in this case, and nothing about this makes any sense. The car that Mercedes was found in was not her car. Her car, which was a 2019 Dodge Charger, was found abandoned near Mill Avenue in Tempe. She was not burned in her own vehicle, and so far, investigators still don't know who the car she was found in belongs to. One of the big questions in this case is how did her car get from her apartment to where it was found? And who drove the other car to Tonopah? Mercedes' parents believe that this was a targeted attack and that death wasn't the ultimate goal, but that Mercedes fought back, which resulted in her death. Her parents mentioned that she danced at a club 2 nights a week, and many question if her death could possibly be connected back to someone she met while at work. It's now been 7 months, and Mercedes' murder is still unsolved. Whoever committed this vicious attack is still out there. Right now, there is a silent witness award of up to $2,000 for information leading to an arrest. But if you'd like to donate to up that reward or to report a tip, please contact the number on the screen. For more information on this case and to show your support, please follow this account that was created for Mercedes that's run by her family. She and her family deserve justice.
How did it go that long without being unsolved? These unsolved cases. Just mind-blowing. Truly. She had to go through, man. Man. Seekers, if you guys stay with me to the end of the video, you're true seekers seeking the truth. I greatly appreciate the support, man. Like I said, guys, tell me down below, guys, if you guys like my new reacting style. Try to save my thoughts until after the video plays. I'm pausing way less. I know you guys noticed that. Trying to upgrade these thumbnails for you guys, man. I'm really trying to put my all into this, man. I know we can just grow this channel and grow our community together, so I greatly appreciate the support. Make sure you guys to follow me on my social medias down below. Guys, gonna catch you in the next one, man. I'm out. Peace, Seekers. What's up, Seekers? Welcome back to the channel. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing alright, man. If you guys are brand new to the channel, you guys don't know what we do. We break down scary and creepy videos on the net, on the web, man. From YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG videos, Facebook, anything weird, usual, and unexplained, you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank the supporters, man, who's tapping into the channel, subscribing, hitting that post notification bell, man. Y'all helping us grow the community. I really appreciate that. Let's do what we do best, Seekers, man. Let's seek the truth.
Crazy Ways People Have Died, Part 1.
Here we go.
In 2010, a man named Sam Ballard was dared by his drunk friends to eat a slug. And so he did. Little did he know the slug gave him a parasite, which made him paralyzed and sick. He stayed this way for 8 years till 2018, when he was 28. The sickness became too much for him, and he died. Stop just putting stuff in your mouths! Stop!
Yeah, I ain't doing that there, bro.
Blood-curdling facts that you wish you never knew. Part 21. This photo shows an 8-month-old Zhao Bao who is lucky to be alive because his mother stabbed him 90 times after he bit her while she was breastfeeding him. The world's scariest haunted house, McCamey Manor, requires you to sign a 40-page waiver and undergo a physical and mental evaluation.
What the?
If you manage to make it through the house, you could win $20,000. But to this day, no one has ever made it through.
The little girl who voiced Ducky in The Land Before Time was shot to death by her father, who then committed suicide. Roman Emperor Nero had a boy castrated, dressed him up as a bride, and married him, all because the boy looked similar to his previous dead wife. A 46-year-old man found and attacked a 13-year-old boy because the kid was killing him too many times in a game of Call of Duty.
Oh my god, goodness. Oh, a damn game. Really?
This is probably the worst secret code name for an undercover operation that I've ever heard. John Arbogast was a 55-year-old school teacher from Georgia. He was teaching students social studies at a middle school in Cobb County, but had a hideous secret obsession with indecent images of children. He had a baseball card shop, and obviously due to this and his day job, he worryingly had huge access to children on a daily basis. He was found to be online constantly trafficking child SA images and was involved in a huge P-ring. Now, this caught the attention of the FBI, who created an undercover operation called Innocent Images. The operation spanned 2 years and started in 1993 after a 10-year-old boy vanished. This boy was George Badinsky, and the undercover operation led to the arrest of 12 men across the world. But frustratingly, George's case remains unsolved.
What the
In September 1995, before he could be arrested, John closed his shop and went on the run. His case then appeared on an episode of Unsolved Mysteries in 1996. He was last seen in Las Vegas, Nevada, but luckily due to the broadcast, police received a tip. They were told he was working at a hotel in LA, and police were able to hunt him down and arrest him. They captured him on the 11th of July 1997. He was frustratingly released from prison just 1 year later.
How?
This pastor is being accused of unaliving his own wife. This case is currently ongoing, but it's been so highly suggested, so this is what we know so far. On April 28th, Pastor John Paul Miller made the shocking announcement at the end of his church service that his wife, Micah, had unalived herself. He then asked everyone to leave quietly and not discuss his wife's death. Micah's family and friends do not believe this cause of death and have taken to social media with the hashtag Justice for Micah. John Paul also wrote Micah's obituary, where he talked mostly about himself, not even Micah, who was the one that passed away.
Weird.
He also painted their marriage as like a perfect relationship, which is really odd considering that Micah filed for divorce and a restraining order against her husband only days before her passing. In the weeks prior to Micah's passing, she was sharing on Facebook about abusive relationships and really just hinting that something wasn't right. A friend of Micah's has come out and confirmed that Micah told her that there was abuse in the marriage, and also that church funds were being used for things not church related. And since more friends and family of Micah have come out with similar accounts. Also been some speculation that John Paul was having an affair, a years-long affair, with this woman that he's been seen in the days before and the days after Micah's death. That woman's husband also passed away in a really suspicious way, but that's just online speculation for right now. The investigation is currently ongoing, so hopefully we have answers really, really soon. But in the meantime, make sure to leave all your thoughts, theories, questions, and case suggestions in the comments for me. This 24-year-old...
She was saying about that case, man, the thoughts and theories, what do you guys think? Like I said, it was too sad. As I said, you can't believe everything in the media or what somebody portrays to be true. Because on a surface level, it looks like they had the perfect relationship, but behind the scenes, the wife, she had a completely different story. So you can't just take everything at first glance. You really gotta dive deep into things like that. Crazy case.
Teacher was caught being inappropriate with her 5th grade student. This is 24-year-old Madison Bergman from Wisconsin. The 11-year-old boy's mother had heard him on a phone call with his 24-year-old teacher and took his phone away. She discovered text messages between the two, and Madison would text him stuff like, "I really wanted to make out with you today." These texts were then printed out and taken to the school. Authorities were notified, and they immediately opened up an investigation.
Yes, they should.
The cops searched Madison's backpack, and they had found a folder with the 11-year-old boy's name on it. Inside of that folder, they had found several handwritten letters. Written on these notes, Madison is telling the boy that she loves him, she wants to kiss him, he turns her on, and she is obsessed with him. The 11-year-old boy ends up talking to police, and he states that Madison would move his desk next to hers so
so that she could touch him without other students noticing. It was pretty often that Madison would make the boys stay behind during lunch, and a lot of the students thought he was always in trouble, but that was not the case. 11-year-old claimed that Madison had kissed him several times in that classroom, either after school or when everyone was at lunch. The 11-year-old's family had actually become friends with Madison, and they even went on a ski trip to a nearby resort. And that specific weekend is when Madison got the 11-year-old boy's number. Get this, Madison was actually engaged, but she will no longer be walking down that aisle. Madison has disabled her social media and is not allowed on school property or school events.
Good.
Madison is currently free on a $25,000 bond.
Gotta watch who you become friends with, man. She had an agenda. She just became friends so she could have access.
Here's some facts that are oddly comforting and make me feel less bad about the world. It is statistically proven that people see you 20% more attractive than you see yourself. Your pet probably dreams about you. Like, all the time. Partially because you're like the only person they have ever interacted with. Squirrels accidentally plant thousands of trees every single year just by forgetting where they put their nuts. A group of pugs is called a grumble. That is the cutest thing I've ever heard. In Switzerland, it's considered animal abuse to only own one guinea pig. You have to own two. Guinea pigs get severely depressed when they're by themselves, so they need partners to be with. If you ever have a cat and they bring home a dead animal, it's because they think you suck at hunting. They want to make sure you're okay in eating, and they don't see you hunting. So they're like, where is this guy getting any nutrition? The ozone layer, the thing that we've obliterated over the past century, it's slowly healing itself. We're not doing anything. It's fixing itself.
The funniest
true facts about short people.
I never even knew that, because we've been hearing a lot about, the ozone layer, stuff like that, but to hear that it's actually healing itself, we probably going to have to dive deep into that one, see, because that's an interesting fact. You guys believe that?
Quickly, tag one of your shorter friends so they can see this video too. Now technically, being called short means you're between 5'3" and 5'7" inches tall. Now at this height, you can sometimes actually pass as a child, therefore getting cheaper pricing. And you even get to ignore the caution low ceiling signs, which saves a lot of headaches. You sometimes even get to use tall people as human shields to protect from objects and even nature. And short people can probably fit over a month's worth of washing in one single load. Now the good news is, you will typically live longer according to research and studies. And being short actually means you have a reduced risk of getting cancer. And believe it or not, it's scientifically proven that information travels to your brain faster.
Really? To the short kings out there,
10
congratulations.
facts you didn't know that could save your life. If your house ever smells like fish for no reason, 9 times out of 10, it's because there's an electrical fire. If you're in a foreign country and you need to call for help, but you don't know the emergency number, call 112 and it'll automatically connect you to the nearest helpline. If a tornado looks like it's not moving, it's actually moving towards you. If you ever wake up to the smell of gas, don't turn on a light. The spark from the light switch could blow up your entire house. Lying flat on your back is the best way to survive a falling elevator. If your hair ever stands up, duck and cover because you're about to be struck by lightning. If you ever fall off the edge onto the tracks, don't try and crawl back up. There's a crawl space built to go underneath in case this happens. If a deer runs across the road, it's better to hit it than swerve into the ditch. But if it's a moose, then it's better to swerve into the ditch, because hitting a moose is like hitting a brick wall. Even if you have no service, you can still dial 911. In an emergency, your phone will connect to the nearest tower. If you ever get kidnapped into the back of a vehicle, disconnect the brake light wires so the cops will pull them over. Then kick on the door to let them know that you're there.
You need those facts. Write them down.
Facts that I wish I didn't know. When you die, the last thing to go is your hearing. So as all your other mortal sensations are leaving this world, the last thing you're ever going to experience are the sounds going on around you, which very well could be like your family members crying or cheering. By the year 2050, there's going to be more plastic in the ocean than fish. When pigs get a cold, like a cough, very often they will shoot their intestines out of their anus, and farmers have to, stuff it back in.
Oh, man. That is disgusting. Never do that. Never. Tap in with us, man. Y'all gonna learn some things.
Interesting facts you never knew. The last one is shocking. When penguins can't find love, they waddle off to die alone. The movie theaters actually has cameras inside every theater. So just know, if you were getting freaky, Bob in your local theater probably saw you. Being nasty. Your true love is the first person you see when you click share, slide all the way down, and click more. You wake up before you die in your dreams because your mind can't comprehend death. Want to know what your day is going to be like tomorrow? Type tomorrow in the comment section and let your autocorrect finish the sentence for you. So it's like your mama's booty. People actually see you 20% more attractive than you think you are. A cafe in Japan hires paralyzed people to control robot servers. This is so that they can still have income and make a living. Before we get to the last fact, can you support me by clicking the follow button for more interesting facts every day? Arnold Schwarzenegger said in many interviews that O.J. Simpson was always supposed to play the Terminator. The main reason he stopped being cast was because James Cameron didn't think he was believable as a killer.
Dirty facts about history that school probably didn't teach you. Part 20. Before she married Ronald, Nancy Reagan was known around Hollywood for her oral abilities, therefore making her a certified throat goat. Queen Victoria really loved doing the deed with her husband, Prince Albert. Like, really loved doing it. To the point where it was audible through doors and walls several times daily. After the Founding Fathers signed the Declaration of Independence, they went frat boy mode and racked up a pretty impressive bar tab. A bottle of whiskey, 2 bottles of wine, and 7 to 10 beers per Founding Father. George Washington in particular was known as the 3-bottle man, meaning he could drink 3 entire fifths of whiskey without blacking out. The guy who invented sea monkeys was a white supremacist, so if you ever bought this bullshit, you indirectly contributed to the Klan.
This is how rare your
Who got some sea monkeys when they were younger, man? The more you know. And exposing us to new facts every day. Never in a million years would have guessed that.
Ideas compared to the rest of the world. Only 10% of the population have what is known as Morton's toe, making you extremely rare if you have this. This is where your second toe is longer than your big toe. What's even more rare is only 5% of people's tongues are tied. This is literally where your tongue is tied to the bottom of your mouth, impacting eating and speech. Only 1% of people have unbreakable bones. And if you have this, you are literally considered a superhuman. It's a mutation that makes your bones several times denser than the average human. Which means someone with this mutation could walk away from a fucking car crash completely fine. Only 10% of the population suffer from eczema. Most get it when they're a child. It's bullshit! Whereas others can get it further down the line. 50% of the population can fit their fists in their mouth. That's still pretty rare. If anyone can actually do this, please let me know. Can you tickle yourself? If so, then congratulations, you're a part of the rare 7% of the population who can actually do this. And finally, only 16% of people can make a roaring noise in their head, flexing a muscle in their jaw. Damn. Elon!
I'm gonna need y'all to tell me down below, man. Can y'all do any of those things that he just described? It's like your body can do more things than I ever would have even imagined. It's kind of crazy how like complex your body is, and the different things it can do, and how it can differ from different people. Insane.
Which of these facts is the hardest to believe? It is impossible to hum while holding your nose. If you want to know how your breath smells, lick your wrist and smell it. The word hello was actually invented because nobody knew how to start a telephone conversation. If you Google the phrase, do a barrel roll, the page will do a clockwise spin. Go to it, come back and let me know if it worked. Your eyes actually sees objects upside down. It is your brain that flips it back up. Your foot is exactly as long as the distance between your wrist and the crook of your elbow. Your phone knows your best friend. It is the second person that appears when you click share, and then more. There are 7 to 10 people on earth who look identical to you. Want more?
I think it has to be the second fact. Licking
Facts,
your
it
wrist
could
and
save your
smelling it.
life one day. If you're ever somewhere really high, like a mountain, and feel your hair standing up randomly, don't take any pictures and run as fast as you can to cover. You're about to get hit by a lightning strike. Just like these 2 teens that got hit moments after this picture was taken. If a stranger gets in your car with a weapon and asks you to drive them somewhere, most likely you will have your seatbelt on, but they won't. So drive fast enough into something like a lamppost. Not only will the accident cause a crowd, but it will also injure the a stranger give you enough time to run away, and don't worry about your damaged car, your insurance will take care of it. And if you're at the beach and you suddenly see the ocean recede, don't think twice and get to high grounds. You're most likely gonna get hit by a tsunami. Better safe than sorry. And finally, if you ever see a bouncing ball on the road while driving, slow down safely and look around, because the ball is usually followed by a small child trying to get it back.
Okay, those facts. Another one, we gotta write those down. Always trying to learn some knowledge from these videos and trying to incorporate it in our everyday life.
That each other exist.
What, don't know they exist?
Sharks have no fucking clue that camels exist. And
oh boy, do I have a story for you. So like fun fact, actually mildly disturbing fact. Camels are one of those animals that have no business swimming but do it anyway, and they're unnecessarily good at it. And an animal whose home address is a desert being able to pull up on you in the ocean is one of the biggest you I do what I want moves from nature.
It really
There's
is.
a dromedary camel called karai that are so comfortable with water that they'll cross rivers and even shallow stretches of the ocean as they look for food. And that's because these overgrown water donkeys love eating mangroves on islands offshore, so much that they'll travel for hours to get it. There's actually a pretty good chance that at least one shark has seen one of these sand-loving hump jockeys out in the ocean. He told his friends. They did not believe it. Moral of this video. If you're ever on a boat off the coast of a country like Algeria, you better be prepared to say what's up to a camel.
This is why you should never spend the night on Niku Mororo Island. In 1937, while on her flight around the world, Amelia Earhart mysteriously vanished over Howland Island in the Pacific Ocean. Despite an enormous search, she was never found. 3 years after her disappearance, a scientist discovered an incomplete skeleton on this tiny, uninhabited island called Niku Mororo Island that wasn't too far from Howland Island. It looked like whoever's bones these were, they had been ripped limb from limb. But when the bones were examined, they determined they were not Amelia Earhart's. But in 2017, a forensic anthropologist re-examined the bones and determined they were almost definitely Amelia's. So scientists went to Niku Mororo Island and they found freckle cream, something Amelia was famous for using. So the working theory is she crash-landed on Niku Mororo Island and she fell asleep somewhere on the beach. Then, after smelling her blood, hundreds of 3-foot-wide coconut crabs came out of their burrows, swarmed her, and ate her.
Damn. Coconut crabs ate a human being? What the hell? You see how they had to re-examine the bones, because like I said, it's in the details. If it's something messes up the first time, just looking at it again. They confirmed it, man. That's really weird. Coconut crabs? Damn, I didn't even know they was capable of doing something like that. The more you know. The hell is
Unless
that?
you want your own Twitter hashtag, never do what he did. Trust me, you're going to want to favorite this video so you never end up in this situation. You, my friend, have just caught death itself. The giant hornet. This hornet will come after you in the morning, and by the evening it will own your house, your family, and even your mortgage. Why am I so concerned by this person's well-being? Well, let's start with the fact that these have photographic memories, and you caught it in a plastic see-through cup. You have the desire to meet your ancestors. Now, a sting from one of these is about as nasty as it looks, described as hot metal being poured into your body. And not only that, they can spray venom too. They don't just have to sting you. And before anyone thinks, no, this isn't a wasp without a couple protein shakes. I know what these hornets do for fun. They raid beehives, and they completely Thanos everything inside of that nest.
Damn.
They can fly up to 25 miles per hour. He can only run 27. To pray for him in the comments. Yoey!
Those are some different type of hornets, man.
This is why you should never stay in sketchy motels. In 2005, a young woman on a solo road trip across the country decided to stop for the night. The first place she sees is the Mountaintop Motel. It looked pretty cheap, but she was tired, so she said good enough. The check-in guy eyed her up and down very uncomfortably and then asked her if she was traveling alone. She ignores the question, pays for her room, and then walks away with the key. When she gets inside her room and sees there are literally cockroaches in her bed, she says nope and decides to sleep in her car in the parking lot. Around 3 a.m., she wakes up to see the check-in guy using his own keys to get into the motel room she was supposed to be in. A few minutes later, he storms out and slams the door and starts walking towards her car. Terrified, she hides under her blanket as the man tries to open her car doors but can't and walks away. She speeds off and calls her friend and asks her to look up the address of Mountaintop Motel so she can give it to police. Her friend's quiet for a second and then just says, "The Mountaintop Motel closed a week ago."
What the So where was she at? Or was that like a scary story or something? Damn, motels ain't it. Always go to a hotel. It ain't worth it. Abandoned hotel in Bali? Look at those prices. Damn. All those reservations? What the hell happened? Why is it got abandoned? In Bali too? Something had to go down that we don't know about. Looks like they left in a hurry. All the snacks are still on the table. Wind powered? Very creepy.
Psychology tricks that I know work because.
Hey.
Blood-curdling facts that you wish you never knew. Kayla Posey, who you might recognize from this gif from the show Toddlers and Tiaras, went to her prom this past weekend and took her own life just a few hours later. The dinosaurs in Jurassic Park were not animated. Most of them were just actors in costume. This photo shows Ismail Hadi, a homeless man from Yemen known for feeding stray dogs. One morning he was found dead, with the dogs refusing to leave his side. A new device in South Africa called Rapex resembles a tube with barbs inside that is inserted like a tampon to prevent sexual assault. Any man who attempts an unconsentful act will be impaled by its teeth and sent to the ER. This 7-year-old girl is the only person in the world with diagnosed chromosome 6 deletion, meaning that she doesn't feel pain, hunger, or the need to sleep. In 2016, she was hit by a car, dragged nearly 100 feet, and felt absolutely nothing.
How is something like that even possible, man? It's because of our chromosomes? Could you imagine if everybody had that? Nobody would feel pain, the need to sleep. Kind of be like invincible. It's crazy to think about. Do you guys want that?
A YouTuber broke into the Bohemian Grove 2 weeks ago and captured everything in HD. This video is like the first of its kind I've ever seen. He got a ton of footage, but let me show you what he got of the owl.
Mine. And that's the owl statue. Holy fuck. Dude, I'm actually here. This is insane. No way. Bohemian Grove. I made it. Yeah. This is the owl statue. What the fuck? No way. This is fucking cool. Oh, that's hollow. They need to fill this pond up. They do.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the owl. A bunch of ferns have grown on it.
Yeah, that's like the power station.
Now that is absolutely insane. For those of you that don't know, the Bohemian Grove is speculated to be some kind of conspiracy theory of where the elite go to sacrifice people.
They hold their weird rituals there, and that's how they stay in power. The real definition is that it is an invite-only elite club. Only the biggest names in the world can come here. Nobody really knows what's going on in there. They just kind of light an owl and go there. Seeing all this stuff up close and everything is absolutely insane. The fact that the owl is hollow blew my mind. Seeing everything overgrown and abandoned makes me think they moved to another location for their elite invite-only club. Probably somewhere underground at this point, to be honest, so it's away from the public eye. The person that filmed this on YouTube is Dancer1. Definitely go check out his video. It's half an hour long and it is amazing. He really snuck in there with a kayak and a cast iron skillet paddling. Damn. The dude is built different. Let me know what you guys think about the Bohemian Grove. Maybe something weird is going on there. Some kind of sacrifice. Who knows?
See, other YouTubers, I think, go there too. That's actually insane. Bohemian Grove. And like I said, it definitely looked abandoned. They, like I said, going off his prediction, they probably, like I said, moved it to a different place because it got, I guess, too known to the public. They wanted to switch it up. YouTube, that's it, man, for this video for you guys today. If you guys stay with me to the end of the video, your true seekers seeking the truth. Greatly appreciate that support, man. Like I said, guys, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe, hit that post notification bell, man, so we can grow our community together. I greatly appreciate the support you guys have been showing in these past couple of videos. I know, man, we could grow our community into something special. That's why I do daily uploads for you guys. You guys gonna catch in the next one, man. I'm out. Peace, YouTube.